Windows 11 is a travesty, and I'm tired of pretending that it is not. With Copilot Plus, Windows Recall slash spying feature, and huge amounts of bloatware, it is safe to say that Microsoft's engineers have designed an operating system which is a terrible mess in every aspect. I sometimes fondly look at the good old days of Windows 7. I mean, yeah, there were things that could have been better, but at least it wasn't shit. The desktop experience was reliable, clean, and using it was a pretty decent experience. I mean, people were happy, users were happy. And I guess this made Bill Gates very upset, and he took an oath to ruin the desktop experience that will give PTSD to all the Windows users for eternity. And in this video, I have tried to capture that journey. Let's look at how Microsoft went from a pretty decent operating system, Windows 7, to an ugly monstrosity that will force you to shift to Linux, Chrome OS, or even Mac OS. The first step down from Windows 7 was 8. The minions of Bill Gates use a lot of innovative ways to kick their customers in the nuts. The biggest fuck up was the tiled menu. These motherfuckers had an identity crisis where they felt that they need to create an OS which worked well on mobile devices and PCs. So of course they ended up creating an OS which was shit everywhere. I mean, you manually had to go to the desktop, and if you hit Windows to search for something, you will go back to the dialed hellhole, and the search bar will pop up from the right, which was slow and misunderstood your query most of the times, and it was known as Microsoft Charms. It wasn't charming at all. And this wasn't all though, like there were also some app compatibility issues. If you're installing some of the Adobe Creative Cloud tools, you had some compatibility issues, and there were also issues with the older versions of MS Office. To top it all off, they introduced bloatware like on a large scale for the first time on Windows 8, and this is a tradition that they have continued till today. The second thing they have also done is collecting huge amounts of user data. I mean, they always have collected the user data, but from Windows 8, they started collecting a lot of the user data through the advanced telemetry thing. And they collected everything from where the device is located, even when you were not using applications that required your location. Then it also recorded the applications you installed and how you use them, all of the networks that you're connected with and the details of those networks, the keystrokes, the things that you dictated to the device, the things that you typed in through your keyboard were all shipped to the Microsoft headquarters. The objective with Windows 8 was to disorient their own user base with the barrage of fucked up upgrades that no one really asked for. Nobody asked for any of these things. And the next step down was Windows 10. And at the time, when Windows 10 was announced, I was wondering that there is no way Microsoft can make it worse. Windows 10 had to be better than Windows 8, but boy was I wrong.
Hi, I'm Cortana.
The minions of Bill Gates integrated the worst desktop assistant that was ever created, which was Cortana. And this did absolutely nothing. And for most of the queries, it will only return the search engine pages from Bing, the trashiest search engine. And in majority of the cases, people just ended up disabling Cortana forever. They never used it. And it is quite impressive that the previous worst desktop assistant was Clippy from Microsoft. And currently, the worst desktop assistant is still from Microsoft. It's called Windows Copilot. And I'll talk about it later in the video. We are currently talking about Windows 10. So apart from introducing a shit desktop assistant, Cortana, they also did some more innovation, which ruined the desktop experience further. They repackaged the Internet Explorer into Microsoft Edge, which basically is the same browser but with more bloatware and ads. This one definitely took balls to implement because Microsoft knew that the only thing Internet Explorer was good for was to download a different browser like Chrome or Firefox. Despite knowing that, they still shipped the same shit in a different packaging, which also did not have any kind of extension or add-on support initially, which to their credit they fixed it in the later updates, but initially it was just shit. Even now, you can install all of the Chrome extensions on Edge, but it's still shit. It's still a bloatware. It's a mess. There's no other way to say it. And apart from the above innovations, they also doubled down on their older tactics. They leveled up. They added more bloatware than they did in Windows 8, in Windows 10, and they started collecting even more user data, which showed their commitment to sodomize their user base slowly. And now we're in the modern age, the age of Windows 11. We have Copilot Plus, the worst desktop assistant in the market, which is so shit that it makes me want to dedicate my whole life to find the morons who designed it and torture them by tying them up in a chair and making them watch full episodes of No Jumper podcast. It's a bunch of dumb hoes talking shit. But seriously, like, how can you consistently create the worst desktop assistant for decades in a row? Why the fuck you are collecting users' data if you ain't gonna put it into practice? What are Microsoft's engineers and UI UX designers are smoking when designing these progressively trashy operating systems? I guess we'll never know.
I guess we'll never know.
But wait, there's more. Another major innovation that the cunts at Microsoft have done is collecting user data even more with a shit feature called Windows Recall. These assholes decided that log data was not enough, and now they literally need to see what the users are doing. And I know that they have paused it, they haven't shipped it yet. A lot of people are speculating they have delayed the release of Windows Recall because of privacy issues, but I don't believe that. I don't think Microsoft gives a fuck about your privacy. I think it is probably not as efficient in collecting data as they thought it would be. That's why they're currently breaking it down and adding more spyware features into it, which will obviously be hidden from the user. It will be buried deep somewhere in their end user's agreement, EULA. And when the feature finally gets released, I guess we're gonna find out. And guys, look, I don't expect the facts at Microsoft to put this data to any good use either. Microsoft's designers and engineers show up to the office, show up to work after shooting up heroin and continue to build more abysmal OS in the coming days. So it's gonna happen, so don't worry about your data. And in Windows 11, the amount of bloatware is still high. And on top of that, there were many ads right within the start menu. And start menu is the most important menu in a Windows machine. There are icons of applications that will begin downloading once you click on them. They call it recommended apps instead of ads. The damn audacity. I want my money back. I'm seriously not playing at this moment anymore. Like, I really want my 22 bucks. Did I pay 22 bucks or was it 25? Whatever it is, I want my fucking money back. I want a refund. And what makes all of this even worse is that these dumb low IQ retards have access to the best hardware in the modern computing era. Whether it is the ARM chips that can run high frequency DDR5 RAMs or Gen 5 M.2 SSDs, they have the best hardware than ever. And you know what? They fucked that up too. Because so far, all of the Microsoft engineers and designers who have got big shit for brains, they like to innovate to make Windows obnoxious, right? Usually their innovations are limited to the software, but now they have migrated to hardware. They have integrated a dedicated button on the keyboard by replacing the right control for most retarded desktop assistant ever, which is the Copilot Plus. Oh my god, I'm gonna have a fucking aneurysm. But don't worry, it will only get worse. Don't get surprised if they add additional buttons, toggles, and shit onto the PC that will collect even more of your data while ruining the entire desktop experience and making the operating system a throbbing pain in the ass. And you know what? Honestly, at this point, I'm fucking done with Windows. The only options I have is Linux and Chrome OS. I don't want to go to Apple ecosystem because I don't want to get milked. Paying 200 bucks for 8 gigs of memory upgrade is against my morals. I mean, I'm a hardworking individual. I'm not making money out there by conning people, so it'll hurt. to give this money away to a white man. That came out racist. Anyway, I have used Linux in the past, which is pretty great because most of the shit I do was online. But with Chrome OS, I will have access to the Google Play Store. And also, Android allows the installation of third party APKs with ease. So I don't know if I should go from Windows to Linux or Chrome OS. I probably have to do a little bit of research. So let me know if you guys use any of these two because I don't want to go to Mac. I don't want to get milked. So anyway, coming back to the Windows 11 is bullshit thing. My current Windows machine cost me nearly 1 hour after I set it up completely to debloat it, uninstall the useless applications, turn off the shit features that sapped away the processor's capacity and the RAM. And to be honest, the platform isn't bad. I like Windows. I liked the different types of applications it support, but now Microsoft, the UI UX department, a bunch of fatherless bastards. These guys don't know what to do and they're fucking it all up. And everything in Windows is slowly becoming obnoxious and it's being forced down our throat. So in conclusion, I missed the Windows 7 days. Those were the times. Don't worry about Microsoft stealing your data. They ain't gonna do shit with it anyway. It is perfectly okay to verbally abuse and bully engineers and designers that work at Microsoft due to their incompetency. And Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself. Thank you and good night.